The trick to rolling out perfect pie crusts for flaky pies. Achieving a flaky, tender pie crust starts with the right balance of ingredients and technique. A perfect crust requires minimal handling to prevent toughness, while ensuring the butter or shortening remains cold. The key is to use just enough liquid to bring the dough together without making it sticky. Proper chilling, gentle rolling, and even pressure help create a crust that bakes up light and crisp. With practice, mastering a perfect pie crust becomes second nature. Choosing the right ingredients for flakiness. For a flaky pie crust, high-quality ingredients make all the difference. All-purpose flour provides structure, while unsalted butter or shortening creates layers of flakiness. Butter adds rich flavor, whereas shortening makes the crust extra tender. A pinch of salt enhances taste, and ice-cold water binds everything together. Some bakers add a teaspoon of vinegar or vodka to prevent gluten development, resulting in an ultra-tender crust. Keeping the dough cold for best results. Temperature control is crucial in pie making. The butter should be very cold before being incorporated into the flour. Some bakers even freeze their butter and grate it into the flour mixture. Cold fat prevents the dough from becoming greasy, ensuring distinct, flaky layers when baked. Once mixed, the dough should be refrigerated for at least 30 minutes before rolling. This step helps relax the gluten, making the crust easier to work with. Using the right rolling technique. Rolling out the dough properly is just as important as making it. Start with a lightly floured surface to prevent sticking, but avoid using too much flour, as it can toughen the crust. Roll the dough from the center outward, rotating it slightly after each roll to maintain an even thickness. If the dough begins to stick, lift it gently and dust more flour underneath. A uniform thickness of about 1/8 inch ensures even baking. Avoiding overworking the dough. Overworking the dough leads to tough crusts. When incorporating the butter into the flour, aim for pea-sized crumbs rather than a smooth mixture. When adding water, mix only until the dough just comes together. Excess kneading develops too much gluten, making the crust dense. If cracks form while rolling, gently press the edges together instead of reworking the dough. The less you handle it, the flakier it will be. Transferring the dough without tearing. Moving the rolled-out dough into a pie pan can be tricky. One common technique is to gently fold the dough in half or roll it onto a rolling pin before lifting it into the dish. Unfold or unroll it carefully, allowing it to settle naturally into the pan without stretching it. Stretching can cause the crust to shrink during baking. Press the dough lightly into the edges of the pan to ensure full coverage. Chilling again before baking. Once the dough is in the pie pan, it should be chilled again before baking. This helps the fat solidify, reducing the chances of shrinkage or uneven baking. A 15-minute rest in the fridge is usually enough. If making a double crust pie, chilling the top layer before placing it over the filling prevents it from becoming too soft. A well-chilled crust produces the best texture and maintains its shape in the oven. Preventing a soggy bottom crust. A common issue with pie crusts is a soggy bottom. To avoid this, bake the pie on the lower rack of the oven, ensuring the bottom receives direct heat. Using a glass or metal pie dish helps conduct heat more efficiently. Some bakers blind bake the crust before adding the filling. This means pre-baking the crust with pie weights to keep it from puffing up. A light egg wash before baking also creates a barrier against moisture. Baking at the right temperature. Pie crusts bake best at a high temperature, typically 375 degrees Fahrenheit to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, 190 degrees Celsius to 220 degrees Celsius. A hot oven allows the fat to create steam pockets quickly, resulting in a flaky texture. If the edges start to brown too fast, covering them with foil or a pie shield prevents burning. Baking times vary depending on the type of pie, but a golden brown crust is a sign of perfect doneness. Enjoying a perfectly flaky pie crust. A well-made pie crust transforms any pie into a masterpiece. Whether for fruit pies, custard fillings, or savory quiches, mastering rolling techniques ensures a crisp, flaky texture every time. With the right balance of cold ingredients, gentle handling, and proper baking, a homemade pie crust will always impress. Once you perfect your technique, you'll never go back to store-bought crusts again.